everyone, Cindy here from InsurTech Connect Asia. Very happy here today. We have Arvind from MedHead. He will share a little bit more about his thoughts about the industry as well as his experience in ITC Asia 2023. So why not we start off with how has your experience been at ITC Asia 2023 so far?
Cindy, it's been actually a very good experience, and I don't want to dwell too much on the pandemic, but I think what is happening is we're seeing a lot more participation. We saw a lot of opportunity from networking, and one of the biggest differences I saw was that this was very well attended from not just Singapore, not just ASEAN, but from countries way outside of this region. So that way, it was for us a very good experience.
All right, that's very great to hear that there's more international attendees that you're seeing as well. And I also wanted to ask you, what do you think the future of insurance means to you?
It's an interesting question because everybody will have a different answer to it. To me, if I put it in a very short answer, and I can give a slightly long answer, the short answer would be it's becoming more and more customer centric. It's not as if insurance has not been focusing on customers, but I think given how the demands and how technology is helping things, we are seeing a lot more customer centricity permeate into the insurance industry.
Okay, that's really great to hear. I think we actually heard a couple of interviewers today saying customer centricity is very, very important.
So am I repeating myself or?
No, of course not.
Okay.
I think it's just emphasizing how
Good.
important it is to the industry. So just one last question for you. Are there any particularly exciting technologies that you believe will drive transformation in the coming years?
And I'll take on the topic of customer centricity. I think what is happening is, and we heard through some of the sessions, there's a lot of mention of data. I'm not going to dwell a lot on why data is important. Everybody understands, because when you look at data from a customer perspective, you look at data from a regulator perspective, you look at it from a risk and compliance perspective, you look at it from an internal perspective. And in the new age, we also look at it from a transparency when you're looking at sustainability and social causes. All of that importance is very well understood. The question which was raised in this event was, is it living up to its expectation? And I think this is one big area that where I see there's going to be a shift. And I'll explain a bit more why do I see there's going to be a shift. One, the volume of data is gone up significantly, which means that financial institutions are generating a huge amount of data. They're consuming a huge amount of data. And especially when you look at open finance and you're looking at bank assurance, you're opening up application programming interfaces. That means by default, there's a lot of data which is moving back and forth. The second thing which is happening is that the processing is also getting huge of all of this data. The third thing is happening is that this processing is done by latency sensitive applications, which means that processing time is of very high importance. And the last thing is that even though networks have progressed, we're getting 5G, LTE, but still the volume of data has gone up so much that centralization has become a bit of an issue, which means that we are looking at a lot of processing to be done on the edge or at the customer side. What does that mean? From a data side, what we see is that there's an architectural shift, and that shift is moving more towards a data-centric architecture, which in some cases for insurance companies which are very large and working across multiple jurisdictions, it also means geocentric. You do not want to bring everything in one location and then you have latency and network issues. What does that mean? That means that you have to start looking at things like, from an architecture perspective, data federation, data mesh. So it's an interesting concept, and it's a different thing to traditional style of operating where we wanted everything in one place. So I think that's going to be one big area which is going to be a shift from an insurance company. Now, supporting that, I think, would be the second area, which is more what we call around cloud. And I'd like to elaborate a bit more because everybody's got a different view of it. What we call is it's a cloud journey. That means that you might want to start on with single cloud provider. Over a period of time, you might want to graduate over. But what we see is that there's going to be more and more of hybrid cloud which is going to come in. Why? Again, taking the same view, if you are an insurance company working across multiple jurisdictions, you've got different requirements. You've got data residency issues, you've got security issues, but you also have now privacy issues. And you have to cater for all of that. That means you have to start taking care of all of these considerations. And we are seeing more and more questions being raised around resiliency by regulators. Resiliency in the form of how are you catering to portability? How are you catering to exit options? How are you catering to, let's say, cloud concentration risk? Because overall, you've got only so many cloud providers who are taking care of you. So this means more and more we see as they go on the cloud journey, they have to start preparing themselves step by step that how are you catering for it from a short term, medium term and a long term point of view. And this will also support their data journey because they're interlinked.
Yeah.
So that's where I think I would say these are the two big areas which will in the short, medium and long term have a huge bearing on how insurance companies transform themselves into becoming a more customer-centric organization.
All right, thank you a lot for that. I think there are a lot of things to consider for insurance companies, and I think you brought to light the most important things they should work on in the next few years. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks a lot for that, Cindy.
So that's all that we have for today. Thank you, Arvind, for joining us today at InsurTech Connect Asia 2023. We hope to see you again next year in 2024. Thank you.